We're live.
Hey!
And let's see how many people are joining us. It's loading. Who knows? There we go.
Wow.
Loads of people are with us right now. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi, sorry we're late.
Sorry.
We were sort of not being very efficient, were we, at working on what we were going to say and what questions we were going to ask.
Yeah.
You were being very efficient.
Well.
But I wasn't responding to you, so apologies.
Tonight we've got a few guys with us, and I have a big list of questions from everyone. So I'll just start off with.
Nina, sorry, were we meant to be wearing silly hats like you?
Yes, you guys promised. Well, actually, I promised that I'd get you guys to wear silly hats.
That's a humbug.
So Vincent asked us whether there is anything you can tell us about the progress that's been made on the game since last.
Yeah, well, hopefully quite a lot of that was explained in the last update, which went out earlier this week, didn't it? Or was it the end of last week?
This week.
Earlier this week, and thanks very much to everybody who replied. So basically what I talked about in that is the fact that there have been quite a few repercussions from the stretch goals we added, the new characters, the backer likenesses. And so that's still having a little bit of an effect, because ultimately a few questions, we're probably going to come on to those in a minute, are about the fact that the ends of Broken Swords 3 and 4 feel a bit rushed. And am I allowed to answer that question first, do you think, or should we come on to that?
No, go ahead, that's fine.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons that Broken Swords 3 and 4 did feel quite rushed was that we were under great pressure in terms of time, and we weren't able to go back and revisit it. And the ending really is the coming together, the climax of all the gameplay, all the story that's come up until that point. We've had more time now, and we've had more flexibility, and we don't have to adhere to the milestones quite as strictly as we would have done under a publisher, although don't tell our producer Kelly that, because she'd get very cross. This isn't going to go out beyond the four walls here, is it?
No.
Okay. So ultimately this gameplay, these new characters, has had a bit of a repercussion. And so that's really what a lot of our time has been worked, well, from a design perspective and from a story perspective. But from other perspectives, from the art perspective, it's all been going on, and we gave some examples of the screens and how they this exterior of the cafe, which was directly one of the new screens that came about from a stretch goal, and I thought would be good to show everybody out there, how it came from Nigel's really pretty ropey rough through to Tori drawing a tone guide and general guide, and then how beautiful it looks finally, and currently we're in the process of getting that coloured. So all of that stuff was covered. But since you ask, what we didn't really cover was the implementation. And Robert, do you want to just talk a little bit about how you implement from the design?
Well, it's quite a difficult job, and that's why I work with such great people.
But you went to university and you learnt game design, and you learnt a bit of programming.
So nothing prepares you for it like the real world.
No, but you sort of had a bit of background from what you brought forward. Great. Sorry to interrupt you.
Well, we end up with these wonderful design documents that we can read through, and you've always got to fill in the blanks a bit with the design, but it's quite a lot of fun, because you get a lot of creative freedom to work with. Oh, blimey. I'm on the spot now.
You are on the spot. So talk a little bit, Robert, if you wouldn't mind, about the way that you script and the way that the way that you code the logic and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, of course. Well, we've got a fantastic scripting language that we're working with. It makes things so much easier than it would do if we were hard coding everything. I'll start off with a simple example. You might know it from the gallery theme that you've seen during the Kickstarter video. We start off with a character like Lane, and I mean Lane can be in quite a few states. He can be asleep, or well, I don't want to give too much away, do I? Be careful.
I think we've generally given up on the fact that spoilers for those first 2 rooms, people don't mind. If you do, then object and let us know.
Yeah.
But we're rather hoping that you won't object too much if we give spoilers for that first bit of gameplay, because otherwise we'd find it very difficult to tell you about how things are going on or describe very much at all.
Yeah, well, Lane can be in quite a few different states, and as we know from Broken Sword 2, he's quite a pompous guy, bit of a jerk. Bad language.
No, you're allowed to use that one, I think.
Yeah, so we start off with a design document that tells us that Lane, when we initially meet him, he's asleep, he's fainted somehow. I can't tell you how. And we have to come up with a sort of a way to revive him, and we work with designers, and well, we work with everybody to sort of come with.
But tell us a bit about the scripting then. What language do you actually, give us some examples of what you do on a day-to-day basis. You're writing the scripts, and through the scripts you're defining the logic, and you're interpreting the design from that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite difficult to break down a design document into logic, but it's quite fun. We have like quite a complex set of instructions that we can provide to the script interpreter, and the script interpreter will break these functions down and provide us with the gameplay that we set out to do.
So it might say, if the global variable flag is set, then do this. So in other words, if you ask somebody the same question twice, you've set a flag, and you know that so therefore you'll give a slightly different reply. Or if you needed to have done a particular puzzle, then you set a flag and you say, if this flag is set, and then the logic. So the complexity of the logic really, or a lot of people have asked for very complex interactions, and that comes from complex scripting, doesn't it? Keeping track of exactly what's happened. So
it's incredibly complex.
So you ask somebody a question, and depending on what you will set a flag depending on what they've replied, and that flag will then determine what's said. So you might have 2 or 3 lines. If the flag said this, if the flag is set to this, then say this. If the flag is set to that, say that. And presumably that's why it takes so long to then test the game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's bugs in the logic that we've written so far that we've not been able to tease out yet. And I mean, through proper testing, we will get there, but you'll get a good game out of it.
Great. And then Joost, you are in the process, because ultimately a lot
Sorry
of time.
guys, I'm going to stop you there for a second, because some people have said that the video quality is quite low, so I just need to fiddle with the settings as well.
Right.
Is that okay?
Okay, so we're going to pause for a second.
We're going to pause for a second, and then we'll
Joost,
be back.
your moment of